Hello everyone and welcome back to Run It Up number 53. Today we are playing some, nope, that's gonna be a little different. We are playing some $2, $4 limit hold'em on ultimatepoker.com. Now, sometimes you guys ask me for things and I go, oh, okay, maybe eventually sometimes, but no one, zero people have said, hey Jay Carver, play some limit hold'em. But yet here we are playing some limit hold'em. I've been waiting around for a game for way too long than what I would like to wait for. So off we go, limit hold'em. You know. So if you guys have seen my Life and Time series, I did actually play limit hold'em at some point in my career. For the first couple years, actually, I pretty much only played limit hold'em, but I haven't played limit hold'em as like in a cash game format in a long time. Very seldomly do I play limit hold'em, but I figured it's probably not a bad time to hop back in there. I think that we'll have some interesting spots, and you know, what's the worst thing that could happen? I think it'll be fun. So under the gun posts here, and we have the 8-9 offsuit in the big blind. Not the worst flop for us. I think we can start with a bet. This guy just has two random cards. Small blind has pretty close to two random cards, and I think a 9 is probably slightly favored. On a brick turn, I'm going to bet again. I think it's fine. I think our hand is probably more likely ahead than behind, right? On this 5 river, I'm pretty sure I'm going to just check and call, right? Because I don't think he's going to fold a better hand than ours and doesn't call with worse, I don't believe. Let's see if we win this one. All right. Limit hold'em master over here. That's right. You're looking at him. Best limit hold'em player ever? Question mark? Best limit hold'em player NA. Clearly. So I'm kind of interested to see how this goes. I haven't played like real. I don't even know the last time I played limit hold'em in any capacity. I can't even like clearly remember when that was. Probably I don't know if I played a horse event over the summer. I don't know if I played a horse event over the summer. That would have been it if I played one. I must have played like an 8 or 10 game tournament over the summer. So that must have been it. But prior to then, it must have been a long time too. So, but I think it's the differences between no limit and limit hold'em. Clearly, there's differences in terms of like limit hold'em, in my understanding at least. And none of what I'm saying comes with any huge certainty. Limit hold'em is more of like a solid game, and I think a lot of what makes my game good applies to limit hold'em pretty normally. You know, like a lot of the same concepts that we've talked about in no limit still applies here. And you're gonna probably see some kind of similar situations where we're check two in this spot, and so we bet with what might be the best hand, but if not, we've got some optimistic backdoor draws, right? And yeah, I mean, I think that our defending is probably going to be just as loose as we're used to, just as correct also, if not more correct in limit hold'em than it even is in no limit. And yeah, if you haven't played limit hold'em before, basically the bets can only be in increments of $2 up to 4 bets pre-flop, 4 bets post-flop, and after the turn the bets are doubled, so it's $4 per bet up to a maximum of 4 bets. It could be 5 bets, depends on the site, but or the place you play. So I'm not sure Ultimate Poker's rule is for limit bets, but it's probably 4, maybe it's 5. Could be something weird like uncapped, but I doubt it. Going to complete here with deuce 9 of spades. Probably not great, but we're calling $1 to win $5, and that sounds good enough to me. We've managed to flop a gut shot, but it's kind of limited here. Like, you don't really want to check call. I'm not really getting the right price to check call with this kind of a hand. Don't really want to check raise because we're not really going to accomplish a whole lot, I don't think, with this particular hand. So solid poker. Solid poker. Oops, kicking things by accident here. So yeah, if you've never played limit hold'em before, it's pretty similar to no limit hold'em, except for the fact that you're bound to making only singular decisions. So you're either raise, calling, or folding. There's nothing else. There's no nuance in that sizing, at least in sizing and all that. So creates some interesting dynamics and such. Gonna start here with a bet. Don't love it, but don't really want to check back because checking back is the definition of weak passive poker. Just check back and say, oh, please don't bet, sir. Please, sir. Please don't bet. Let's get down to showdown if I have the best hand. And if not, hey, I guess I just lose. I feel like we've had some very easy decisions here, pre-flop at least. I think that I feel like this is actually a pretty decent game. I don't know much about limit hold'em, but I feel like open limping is just generally not the correct play, and I've seen a couple of open limps so far. It could be, maybe it's the hot new rage is open limping. Maybe it is. I don't really know. I've done no preparation. I was just like, oh, a limit hold'em game. Sure. Some 2-4 war. Something like that. Sure, why not? Beautiful little hand in the big blind here. Going to be defending. Could also 3-bet. We haven't seen this guy raise too much. We've mostly seen him limp, right? We haven't really seen him open too often. So I think I'm going to start with a call here. Flop the double gut shot, 3 flush. Lots of things going on here. Certainly going to be shark throwing with the check raise. We want him just to fold a lot of hands that have equity against us. You know, like any sort of hand that is, you know, any pair has equity, obviously. So we're trying to make him make a mistake by check raising here. But looks like he probably has something. So I think we should start with a call. We could re-raise, but I don't really think it accomplishes a ton here. So we're going to have to end up check calling this turn. There's just no reason not to. He's going to bet 4. We're just getting a price to get there. And maybe we also win with also a queen or a jack. We could have the best hand sometimes also if he has some sort of a straight draw or flush draw. Queen is probably going to be good enough to get me to end up check calling. I mean, I'm not loving it by any means, but I think we make mistakes too often against hands that are just like, if he ever has something that we lose to when we fold here, getting 8-1, it's a big disaster. So we have to pay this off, probably losing, but sometimes we don't. We lose this one, but I think we played that hand relatively fine. I mean, I'm a little surprised to see him make it 3 bets on the flop there with the queen 10. That seems a little interesting. It could be fine. I don't know limit hold'em strategy. Like I said, it's too super well, but you think against the check raise from the big blind, you're not going to be in great shape with the queen 10 there. But I mean, you're obviously going to be okay shape, but just not. You know, you probably aren't thrilled about it. I don't think this is going to necessarily work too often, you know? I mean, like, what do we have? We just completed and then bet 2 into 4, you know? So he can definitely be stubborn here with a wide variety of hands, as he correctly should be. Looks like we get away with it this time, though. 70 cents away from being even. That is something. All right. Ace and deuce on the button here. Certainly going to be raising it up. Can't fold the aces on the button here, that's for sure. Even more so than when we play no limit hold'em, I'll be definitely defending if someone re-raises because, hey, only $2 more. It's not really, it's very affordable. Gonna be betting here. We have a backdoor flush draw, overcard. Could have the best hand right here and now. Looks like we probably did. Would be my guess. 6 and deuce. So I am very excited, and only a certain spectrum of you will be excited about this, but I am very excited to say that as of today, just as of an hour ago, it's downloading this minute. I got a Hearthstone key, so I'm very excited to be streaming Hearthstone. It's some sort of a card game. I've actually done very little research as to what it is, except that I know it's very popular and people are enjoying it, and I am excited about these things. So I'm planning on doing some streaming this weekend. Twitch.tv/jcarverpoker. I'll be doing at least some Hearthstone streams, maybe some other stuff too, but I'm going to be streaming some stuff this weekend. We'll be back on Monday making new videos. I like this Monday through Friday regular YouTube videos. I like it. Other stuff can happen on top of it, but I'm liking this schedule we've got, a little routine, you know? It's not the worst thing. All right, we unfortunately have to forfeit our 7-6 offsuit. Re-raise, says Rick Moranis. All right. Oh, we probably have the best hand. Pairs, you know? Limit hold'em is a game of pair making and high card value, high card valuing. Two things that we love quite a lot at, you know, Team J Carver over here. You know, making pairs is a wonderful thing, and high cards also beautiful, you know? Ace 6, interesting decision to re-raise. I guess, I mean, obviously it's fine the rest of the way. Once she decides to re-raise, I suppose it is fine. I don't know. Are you supposed to just click it back with hands like that? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about those things. I think you should call, but I don't know if you should re-raise, right? Should you? You have such a tiny mathematical edge against the hands that their button is opening. But maybe you should be 3-betting it to get a heads up so you can knock the big blind out and get the extra big blind dead in there. Maybe that's the reason to re-raise, is that you're up like flipping with overlay. That makes sense to me. So I think I'm going to check raise here. We have the best hand here some percentage of the time. This guy's going to just bet fold some percentage of the time. She has a great price to c-bet, so you would expect her to c-bet a good percentage of the time. Gonna be betting here on the turn because, hey, we have ace high. So it looks like a thing that we probably are winning. Our opponent agrees and says, all right, take it away. If you haven't seen it yet, don't miss yesterday's video. One of the most fun videos I've ever created. At least I had fun making it. I don't know how much fun you'll have watching it, but you'll at least enjoy a little bit, probably. My Heartland Poker Tour final table from 2007. First live final table ever. First televised final table ever. And I recast it for you guys over, over on my... what you're watching right here now, over on that YouTube channel of mine. So if you haven't seen that yet, go check that out. That was a pretty fun video. Part 2 of that will be coming next Thursday. And everyone that had been asking me why so long, it takes me a while to make those. I need some time to cauldron up the. That's right, cauldron up. All right, I like that. That was pretty cauldron-esque. I felt like that really kind of expressed how I felt about the cauldron thing. Gonna be raising it up here with deuces under the gun. Love this zombie name combination. You effing monkeys. All right, fair enough. Off to the flop we go. We're a deuce away from being happy. Queen, queen, six, not the worst of flops for deuces. You know, this is also one of those times where unlimited hold'em, like if they all knew our cards, no one should fold, right? Everyone has the right price to continue with any set of cards against deuces on this board, right? If we can somehow get this through, it just goes to show you how crazy limit hold'em is and why you should never fold in limit hold'em. Because these guys have so much equity against our actual hand. You know, it's limit hold'em is a great thing. Risk 2 to win 16? No thanks. No, thanks. I feel like I could have been a good Frisbee player in my life, you know? I feel like I've had a lot of comments about my wrist flicking, you know? Maybe. I was never much of a outdoors game player, you know? I did karate. I liked karate. I enjoyed fighting. That was fun. But never much for, you know, frolicking. I was never a frolicking type. That's true. I just wasn't. You know? I was a member of the... That's right. We're going to go into embarrassing elementary school stories now, boys and girls. I guess we'll defend our big blind first with the 7 and 4 offsuit. That is quite the flop for 7 and 4. I could do something aggressive or call or whatever, but, you know, no thanks. Back to my embarrassing third grade story. I wasn't much of like a frolicker outdoors type, but in like recess of like second, third, or fourth grade, I want to say it was third grade, but it might not have been. By the way, here, I guess we call? Do people call here in limit hold'em? I don't know. This could be slightly bad for some reason I'm not clearly thinking of, but it's got to be, can't be that bad, you know? We're getting a great price after all. I can't pass a bargain. So slight little bluff here. Maybe we're not bluffing. We could have the best hand. That's a pretty good river card for us. Happy to try to bet and try to get him to fold some sort of a pair or something like that. Looks like Operation Get It Done successful. All right, the bell is not appropriate for limit hold'em because we really just can't win that much, but it's here and I haven't used it yet, so I'm really looking forward to breaking it out this video. Anyway, embarrassing stories. So yeah, I wasn't really a frolicking type, but I remember very clearly being a part of like a butterfly catching club in like third grade at like the recess thing we had. It was a thing. There was like 15 of us or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's true. It's true stories. True stories of Jay Carver youth. You know? And yet no one had a clue, supposedly. That's so weird. There's a little boy frolicking around trying to catch butterflies. No, he's fine. Sure. Well, we defended here pre-flop, but I'm not going to fold yet. We do have jack high after all, and the backdoor flush draw, I'll point out. And if we just ripped it, we would have ripped into a straight also. I guess we bet now. I mean, we probably should be checking this back here, right? Because realistically speaking, does he ever fold a better hand than ours? Probably not. And we're not really getting value from better or from worse, right? We're getting value from like 9, 10 and like spades and stuff like that. I don't think betting now makes any sense whatsoever. I probably should have just checked back on the turn though. Oh, just the old queen and 8, huh? No big deal. All right, so we didn't win that pot there. I probably should have just checked back turn, and probably would have ended up calling on river, actually, given how that hand played. So we didn't lose any different amount than we would have otherwise. So it's probably fine to bet turn, because these players are probably just check folding a lot on the turn here. But yeah, I think that was probably incorrect, generally speaking. $4 on the button. Beautiful flop. We flop to the 4 blue cards, like Uno. Let's see what our opponent does here. If our opponent decided to check raise, I think we would re-raise with a hand this good. Maybe not, though, because if he check raises on this board, he has diamonds and kings and 4s and probably not bluffs, and that our hand doesn't really do too good against that. I almost folded for a second, and then I realized we were playing limit holdem, not folding 9-3 offsuit. Even in a hand, we would fold no limit. Definitely not folding it in limit. All right, let's see a flop dealer. What a flop. What a flop. So we could arguably lead here, but, we don't know our opponent at all, and I'm very happy to check raise. We've made top pair in limit hold'em, so we're currently super psyched about it. 5 is not the best of turn cards, because obviously any 6 makes a straight now, so we could be beat by 7-6, 8-6, ace 6, stuff like that, but certainly going to start with the bet and probably not fold and go from there. Jack and 3 of puppy dog feet. I suppose we should be calling. Calling $1 to win $3, and now we're calling $2 to win $6. These all seem like very good prices for me. Gonna start with a check. Don't know exactly what I'll be doing here. We could arguably check raise. Let's see if this is button clicky or actually maybe might work. Check raise, because I think there's going to be a lot of like good turn cards for us that we'll want to put pressure on. Something like this, like 9s, queens, jacks. There's a good number of cards that improve us in some way. So I guess we just call now, obviously, because I think re-raising would just be giving away money. Bink! I think the question is, do you check raise or just bet? And I think maybe we should be check raising, but I've taken so long now that I probably should just bet. And we're only going to get one bet here most of the time. But I don't know if that was horribly played or if we were a monkey or what the deal is with that. It's got to be fine. It's limit hold'em. How bad could it be? I mean, maybe we should have just check called flop, check called turn, and not check raised. Maybe that would have been better. And then maybe we should have like quickly checked the river and let him try to bluff, or but betting has to be okay. Can't be bad to bet, but it's probably better to maybe check raise. I don't know. Gonna be check calling here with king high though. That is for sure. We've turned ourselves a gut shot. That's something. I accidentally made this a little smaller. So we beat, what hands do we beat now? We beat 10-9, we beat spades. We beat like 10-8, stuff like that. Maybe this is a call. This might be a turn call, but don't know our opponent that well. He seemed kind of aggressive, which makes this maybe more of a call in the lot, because the more hands he has, the better for us. So maybe that's actually a call on turn there, or with the king 4 of hearts. But I don't know. I don't know about that. You have to think that he has spades, spades, and like a couple of very few straight draws. If he has an ace, we're drawing nearly dead. We have to hit a 10. If he has a queen, we need a king or a 10. But I don't know for sure if he would bet a hand like a single pair that wasn't an ace on the turn. He probably would bet a queen, but probably not a jack. I don't know. Mysteries. Great flop for us as pre-flop raiser. We're going to be definitely smashing this one. Great turn card for us. We are probably likely ahead against his ace high or king high or whatever it is that he has. Very happily betting this for value. Once in a while we lose to a 7 or a 5 or something like that, but way more often than not we just win against his like ace 3 or something like that. Yes, sir. Just the old 5 and 3 offsuit. Yes, that's right. That's me picking up my cards and flipping them over like this. That's what that motion was. That's it. That's the best way to show down cards at limit hold'em, particularly when it's clearly over. Grab and twist. That sounded a little dirty. The old grab and twist, right? Okay. Anyway, back to poker. Pocket fives. We've re-raised. And now I'll be betting. And our opponent is not folding. Which is okay with me. Okay, I guess I'll be checking. Certainly not folding, though. Oh, our opponent checks back. Dagger. That makes me really sad. I mean, I guess we'll check and not fold again, give him a chance to bluff, although I don't think this guy seems like the bluffing type. We at least have to let him try. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That's what we get for not just betting the turn with what was almost for sure the best hand. That was bad. Whoever our limit hold'em god is not happy about that. Whoever we look up to as our limit hold'em idol, which I don't really have one. Daniel, I guess, is probably the guy. I mean, I don't really have anyone that I've really like asked limit hold'em hands before. I did ask Daniel. I actually a long time ago I made Negranu, who I was friends with at this point. I had made him a video of me playing stud 8 or better, and he said he had never laughed so much in his life when he watched it, because I was like, oh, I think this is right. I think this is right. Right? And he said it wasn't right, actually, surprisingly enough. So I feel like this might kind of be like that, but it's hold'em, you know? We can't mess up hold'em too badly, especially hold'em with limited bet sizing. That seems pretty hard to mess up, you know? It looks like we might have messed up that 5 hand and the Jack 3 of clubs hand. Both might be mess ups, but can't be too bad when you look at it from a mathematical point of view. All right. $1. You got it. Off to the flop we go. Once again, we've made it to paired board status. I guess we bet for like value, protection. You've got 10 high, you know? Could be the best hand. I guess we check now. I suppose we check now. You would think that if he has like a queen high, he would just check back. Maybe he would bet for value, because he probably should bet for value. But I mean, he could be floating us. He could have like just an air type of hand, just called and then bet. But I think we can just fold here because you don't really know what our opponent is doing. We're getting a fairly bad price. I don't know. I don't really know. I think that seems fine though. You know, we're going with our gut. It's the best kind of poker. Who knows? We just go with what feels right. It's great. It's how life should be approached, right? All right, going to be calling here, raised and called. Beautiful flop for us with the 8-5 suited. Given that it's a 3-bet pot, this player probably is not going to be folding here, but that's fine with me. I mean, we've got 8 high, but once in a while he'll fold to a raise here. He'll just have like, you know, Jack 8 offsuit and just fold or something like that. At this point, I think we could either check back and just get a free card if he's literally never folding, or we could bet. I don't know, actually. In the old days, you would raise flop and then check back in spots like this and then like be happy about it that you've like earned yourself a free card. But I don't know if in this current day and age of poker, if it's any good to do this. Maybe you should be betting turn and river here and not just be like raising for free cards. I don't know if that's a concept that really truly exists in limit hold'em these days. But I remember reading like, you know, small stakes hold'em back in the day, and you would raise on the flop in spots like this in position to get free cards. So the turn you could go check, you know. I remember these things being a concept, but I'm not sure if that concept has been disproven as just being too weak at this point. It seemed like it made sense to us, right? He wasn't going to fold at any point in that hand. We were never going to get that hand to get through, that's for sure. Feel pretty good about this spot. We might not have the best hand, but, you know, maybe we do. Against the call, I feel good about it. All right, got that job done there. Pretty standard, flopped a pretty good hand, check raised, and then just got there and just kept going with it. Certainly going to be 3-ball on this one. 3-bang it. That's what we're going to start saying. 3-bang it. That's right. Mary doesn't know what to make of this. $2 more? All right. Pretty good flop for us. We have flopped 3 of a kind, which is always a nice thing to flop. Scary turn card for our opponent in a lot of cases, but no choice besides to bet. You know, is it possible our opponent has a flush for sure, but she also could have any number of 2 pairs. Ace, you could have ace queen and be raising here very happily, so I think calling would be missing out in value. If she 4-bangs it, I would be concerned. On the deuce river, happily just to bet. We almost for sure will win this pot unless something very weird is happening here. I guess I'm going to just call here now. It's possible we lose his hand to, yeah, some sort of like straight like that makes sense. Obviously just pretty unlucky. You can't really do anything else about it. I mean, I feel like we played our hand perfectly well, right? What more could we do? Couldn't do anything. In no limit, we would lose a whole lot more than like $30 or whatever that was. Ace and 7. All right. Let's call. Could re-raise, obviously, but I think calling is fine as well. Going to, I think, be check calling here. We could arguably check raise, but I don't think our opponent makes too many mistakes. You know, that maybe he bet folds with a hand like 6-5 offsuit, which is making a mistake against our actual hand, given that we don't have a pair. Now that we played our hand this way, though, I'm pretty sure we have to just check call, and probably check call. Just mathematically speaking, we just have too many. There are just too many other hands that we beat, you know, straight draws, flush draws, stuff like that. Now, your question is on the river, do we check raise or check call? In a tournament, you would almost always check call in this spot, but maybe in a cash game, it makes more sense to check raise. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe we should be check raising in this spot. Yeah, he's going to be betting for value with jacks and tens pretty comfortably. Maybe not tens, but jacks. Jacks, king, queen, 2 pairs, sets. Maybe that's a river check raise. I'm not sure about that one. That's another one I'm not really 100% on. I mean, I think clearly we're never check folding. That's not even a question, right? So, I mean, that would be just atrocious. So the question is there enough value to check raise the river? He calls with jacks, maybe. He might not call with jacks because that looks so strong. You know, we're not really... I don't know. I'm not really sure how I feel about that hand. That's another one to think about. We've had some fun limit hold'em hands to think about, right? Limit hold'em is not an unfun game when it's played shorthanded. If you play full ring limit hold'em, I would never wish that on my worst enemy. Pot limit hold'em is also terrible. It's a terrible game. It needs to be eliminated from poker. The fact that there is pot limit hold'em is just incredible to me. Like, it's like, would you like to play no limit hold'em but less fun? Oh, well, boy, do I have the game for you today. Let's play some 9-handed poker with no antes, where you're limited in what you can do. It's like, it's very silly. It's you know, the fact that they still play pot limit hold'em during the summer at the World Series is incredible. Like, you don't see spread limit hold'em. Like, it's obviously a form of hold'em that requires slightly different skill set to be good at it than no limit, but it's not that different from no limit, and it's just literally like less fun and less action, and people like it less. You know, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that 10K pot limit hold'em event. I just find it to be, it needs to go. All pot limit needs to go. Limit is a completely different game. Limit hold'em is like an entirely different structure. So if people enjoy it, it's a popular variant. I think that's fine. But pot limit hold'em is a bad, weak cousin of no limit that I think can just go. Or you can make it pot limit with antes. That's one way to fix it, although it changes, obviously, the math, and people will be unhappy about that. But I think that pot limit hold'em with antes, even PLO with antes, is not a bad idea to do either of those things. I guess we could arguably do anything we wanted here, right? We could fold, call. I don't think re-raising makes any sense. That would be really silly. But I think we just fold. Add a position, worst position, guy behind us. Don't really want to call. I don't know if we have the right mathematical price to call here. I don't think we win this hand often enough to flat call, and it also makes our hand look kind of weak, which it is. So we could re-raise and just play it that way and just be aggressive and try to just give this guy the business. But you know, our hand is so bad, and the correct defense to somebody going wild and just clicking buttons like that is to just call, which is people's instinct to do anyway in limit hold'em. Right? People like to call in limit hold'em because, you know, they've got a good price. They should be. So, yeah, there is that. All right, off to the races we go with the old 9 and 3. Fairly good flop for us, all in all. We flopped ourselves a gut shot overcard, 3 flush. All right, our opponent decides to check raise. We could call or re-raise, either one. I don't think our opponent is particularly likely to just have, like, Jack 8 offsuit, in which case then... I've used that as my example twice now for hands. I'm not sure what that means. It's like, I guess I'm in the Jack 8 mood, whatever that means. I guess we just fold now. I mean, we have 9-3. We beat nothing. We have very bad equity. I suppose we just fold. As weird as that might look to people, because we just call the flop check raise and then fold it on a brick turn card. We do have, like, a hand that makes some sense to do that with, I think. Could re-raise here, but I think calling is fine. We got ourselves position and a price, so seems fine to me. Interesting that our opponent decides to check. I think we will be checking as well. It's very unlikely that our opponent's going to raise pre-flop and then check fold on a 5-9-5 board against us in the big blind. And if our opponent does continue, we're like drawing so near dead. I mean, like, yeah, we need a 3 or a 4. But like any turn card comes, our opponent's going to be check calling a decent amount of the time. So I think it just giving up that one and playing some straightforward poker seems fine with me. Certainly going to be limp calling with the old 9-8. We're on our way. We flopped ourselves 2 overcards, 3 flush, gut shot, plenty of things going on here. Starting off with the check raise seems correct to me. I'm going to bet this turn card. I mean, I think that this might be a check call instead of a bet, but betting has to be all right as well. So I think we're going to bet. Maybe there's some chance our opponent will fold a 3 or an ace high, king high, that kind of a hand. You know, if our opponent has any kind of pair, ooh, king high, put us on the old 9-8 or 7-8 or some sort of a straight draw correctly, I'll point out. Nice hand by our opponent over there. Decided not to fold the old king 8. I'm glad we bet though, because if we checked and our opponent checked back and showed king 8, I would have felt like we could have won it. Little would I have known that I couldn't have won it no matter what we tried to do. But at least we tried, you know? We got the sheriff's badge for trying. Certainly going to be re-raising here in the big blind with ace and king. What are you going to do about it, Mary? Call. Pretty good flop for us. Pretty much all you can ask for. $2. No, thank you. All right. Over to the small blind we go. 9 and 8 again. All right, this time we get folded. All right, so we're probably going to play another orbit here. One more orbit here. If you guys have enjoyed this video, I have no idea if we're going to play more Limit Hold'em, but if you've never played Limit Hold'em before, it's actually kind of a fun form of poker, especially shorthanded. You know, the action is obviously, we've played more hands this video than I think we've played in like an hour-long regular video, you know, so if you like getting in there, mixing it up, you can you'll still learn skills. Like, I actually really believe in that concept of that. If you're, let's say you want to get better at no limit hold'em, but you play stud for a month, I really do believe that if you really study other poker games, you can take what you've learned and bring it back to hold'em and apply those concepts, and it will make you better. Like, stud players are obviously good at some things that hold'em players aren't natively good at. Same thing with PLO and other games. Like, the more you study poker in general, you can always pull back concepts into hold'em. And vice versa, of course, as well. So if you've never played Limit Hold'em before, you should study it. It's kind of an interesting game, and will definitely make you more comfortable with defending hands like what if you've seen me play the Run It Up series before, and you're like, oh, Jake Harper, you're so loose. Well, you can play Limit Hold'em and practice a little bit with, like, you know, swimmies on in the deep waters. You know, you can practice at Limit Hold'em. You can't be hurt too badly. So I highly recommend you checking it out if you have not played before. Happy to bet here with what is the tippy top of our range for sure. Going to be bet calling here and then probably check raising on most turns because our hand is so good. All we did is limp pre-flop, so I'm kind of hoping that this opponent is just being over-aggressive with some sort of a hand here. I guess we will bet. We could arguably check, let him bluff, right? Did he try to bluff a hand so far? I think he's shown himself. He just stationed with the king 8, so I think we'd rather just bet than check, right? I think that probably makes some sense. Maybe we should be just re-raising the flop. Maybe that was too, like, fancy play syndrome, you know? Maybe we should be just re-raising flop there and not bet calling, hoping to check raise turn. That might have been a slight error. Going to be calling here with king high because, you know, king high, etc. Turn to gut shot just in case he happens to have something, which is possible at this point, but, you know, price, etc. certainly can't fold. All right. So at this point, I mean, you know, what does our opponent possibly have that we beat? I'm bricking. It's probably not a time to call if you can't think of a hand your opponent has. I mean, she could have just like a random 2 cards that she's decided just to go to town with, but, you know, I think generally that's probably unrealistic. All right. So that was the video for you. Right at number 53, we lost our minds and played Limit Hold'em. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Lots of different cool hands. So if you have any questions or thoughts on the hands we played today, there are a lot of hands that I wasn't 100% on. And if you have thoughts, questions, post in the comments below and make sure you link to the hand, or at least like make sure it's clear I know what hand you're talking about. And we'll have a bit of a debate if you want to have some debates. They're right accessible for you is the forum in the comment section below. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video and all the videos this week. I'll be back with more on Monday. Don't forget to follow me on twitch.tv/jcarterpoker for streams from the weekend. And we'll be back with more Monday, some more Run It Up probably. But hey, maybe not. Could be something even more exciting than that. I know. How could such a thing exist? But it might. Anyway, thanks so much for watching as always. I will see you guys back more soon. Peace.